We're almost at a boil. We got little tiny bubbles occasionally floating across the top of the thing here. So what we're going to do is turn the heat off. And we're going to add our extract, which has been softening here in hot water. Get my can opener.
Remember, you must be 21 to have alcohol products.
Right.
21
okay.
or older.
So we got our extract. We're going to start slowly stirring here and pouring in the extract.
That is a lot of extract.
Try and get it all out of there. Looks like the sitting in the warm pot softened it up good.
Still coming.
Alright, we're going to call that done. The next step is to put the dried malt in. There's 2 pounds of this stuff.
Yep.
So again, we start stirring and put the malt in.
Yeah, that should be it.
So that's bag 1 of the malt.
Bag 2.
Get this one stirred in.
Yes. Now, I wouldn't travel around while that is brewing because you always have to watch it.
Okay, and then we put our next bag of dried malt in.
And then we have...
And it's already starting to foam up, and I haven't applied heat to this yet. So
we have 8 ounces of maltodextrin, which we are not putting in yet.
Yeah, it goes in after this.
Oh wait, it does. It does, because I just read the manual.
Okay, so you go put those in the trash bag for me?
Yeah. Warning, messy, messy, messy.
Okay, so we got the dried malt in. I'm supposed to stir till things dissolve. But we're going to go ahead and add the maltodextrin. 8 ounces of this.
Dried milk.
No, it's sugar.
No, it's more like dried milk. It's more like dried milk. It's not actually dried milk, it just feels like it. Because dried milk is powdery. And I think that's it for today's episode. Am I right?
No, after this we add the hops, according to this recipe.
It's 1:26 and the brew is starting to get finished. But remember, you still have to wait 4 weeks. And then store them. Don't even taste them that. It's disgusting. You taste it then. If you taste it in 4 weeks, don't taste it in 4 weeks after you finish the brew.
We're stirring until all this maltodextrin and the dried malt dissolves, but I'm going to go ahead and add the hops now. 1 ounce of UK First Gold hop pellets, which kind of looks like rabbit food.
Yes.
And we'll put those in. That goes in the trash as well.
Wait 4 weeks and then you go store it. It should be. Shouldn't it be ready in 4 weeks?
No. Takes about a week in the fermenter, and then another 2 to 3 weeks in the bottle. Okay, so everything's pretty much dissolved into here. Yes, you're hilarious, you know that? So all the dried malt extract and the hops are dissolved into the wort here. So we're going to go ahead and turn the heat back on. And now is when you really need to watch it. Now is when you're going to get boilovers. So we'll just keep. So for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the volume of water or some limitation in the heating elements in my stove, but it seems to take forever to come back to a boil without the lid. So I've put the lid on, and I'm watching it very, very closely. But I've put the lid on to kind of help things come back to a boil now before I set it to simmer. Seems to be working. I can hear a lot more action going on in the bottom of the pot here. Hasn't quite reached the rolling boil point. But okay, so at this point we're just about at a rolling boil. Back again. It's taken about 40 minutes to get back to this point. So I'm going to lower the temperature just to keep it at a simmer, and continue to cook it for about 25 minutes while I rinse out the fermenter and the rest of the tools I'll need to get it into the fermenter. Okay, so it's been simmering for 25 minutes. Now I'm going to add my pinch of Irish moss. This is to help clarify the beer. A little more. Not sure how much. This wasn't included in the original box recipe. Something that I've read about and was recommended by the owner of the brewer's supply store that I went to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let that simmer for another 5 minutes. And then we're going to pour it into the... We're going to let that simmer for another 5... The last 5 minutes of the boil are finished. Turn the heat off. Let it sit there for just a second. I've gone ahead and rinsed out my fermenting tank and added 2 gallons of cold water, okay, into the tank. I also have a little cold bath set up here in my sink. The idea being that you want to cool down this wort to 90 degrees as quickly as possible before you add your yeast. So, filling up my bath there. Second, I'm going to get my gloves. Alright. And I'm going to immediately pour the wort right here into this cold water in the fermenting tank. I've set up a chair here with a towel to cover any splashes. You want to avoid, I guess, making as much splash as possible with this. Alright. That went relatively painlessly. So, next we're going to add another gallon of water, cold water, to bring it up to 5 gallons. I've got just about 4 gallons of liquid in here. Got 4.5.